Musashi!
Hello and welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Rosie and I'm joined by the biggest Onimusha fan I know, Alex.
Wow. Hi. Hello, it's me.
And we are here to talk about Onimusha Way of the Sword because we have both played it and we are really excited just to talk about essentially 5 things that we really enjoyed about it. And I think the first thing that we both really want to talk about is the combat.
Oh yeah. This is the building block of any good Onimusha game. The combat. And the combat is amazing. When I was making some notes ahead of recording, I wrote down three words. Fluid, brutal, and incredibly satisfying.
Yes.
So technically 4 words, but honestly, just the flow of the fighting, the way it feels, is incredible. Straight off the bat, it feels amazing to fight all the horrible enemies that you come up against, and the game has loads of different techniques for you to implement.
I mean, obviously you've just got your standard, attack with one hand and attack with 2 hands, but you've also got like a perfect dodge system, and it's really cool when you do it and you get that little like slow-mo and the little ghostly image.
It's so cool.
Sort of like next to you.
It's really stylish.
You can deflect projectiles, so if an enemy's shooting arrows, you can either just swipe it away, or if you time it right, you can actually shoot it back at them, which is always a lot of fun. You can sneak up on enemies and do stealth attacks. You've got the stamina bar for enemies, which when you break, you can do a really big attack, and they're all really like beautifully animated.
The animations are amazing as well. Just the way that like Musashi slams his sword through the enemy and just slices them in half. Oh, it's brutal. It's incredible.
When you get like 2 of them back to back, you can just go like that one slash and then that one slash. It's so good.
You feel like an absolute badass. It's amazing.
I also felt like an absolute badass when you're parrying, because you can parry from like any direction. I literally had it where I was just focusing on one enemy in front of me, someone came up behind me and Musashi was like, no you don't, and like literally deflected it from behind him and did the sword movie thing where it's like, I'm gonna push you around and now I'm facing you.
It's amazing the way that the parry animation works like that, isn't it? He sort of slides his sword against the enemy's sword and like repositions the enemy. It's like a really it's a clever little detail, and it's almost like a dance between you and the enemy, isn't it? The way they try to reposition and gain position advantage against each other. It's a little sort of thing in the animations, but it's really cool.
And you've also got these really strong Oni attacks, which you can charge up from blue souls. So when you defeat enemies, you have these. They're really pretty. I really like them. I've always liked them in Onimusha, but just the little colourful souls you can absorb. Musashi putting them in his gauntlet in this game. And they've all got their different perks as well. So like blue will feel the Oni gauge. Red is like your currency, I guess. We don't know what that's for yet, but there was a currency counter going up for the red souls.
Yeah.
And then yellow is for your health as well. So you're constantly feeling really cool, doing these awesome maneuvers. And also then you just have a little bit of a breather as you inhale souls.
That's it. It's great that the souls are all back, guys. you might remember them from the previous games. And most importantly for me, with the combat, they've brought back the Issen strikes. So if you press square or triangle just as the enemy's blade is about to hit you, it's quite a tight window, you will land an Issen strike and it immediately kills the enemy in a single blow. Doesn't matter how much health they've got. And pro Onimusha players in the previous games were chaining these and clearing areas with a series of Issens. I'm really curious to see how Issens will work here, but they are definitely back and they feel amazing to land. It's so rewarding.
And Alex, what was the next thing that we wanted to talk about?
I thought we should talk about difficulty, because there've been a lot of Souls-likes. Everyone's played a lot of Souls-likes, and I know that there's some question marks, like, is this a Souls-like? How does it sort of fit in genre-wise? I would say that this is more in line with a hack and slash.
Yes, agreed.
There's definitely, there's parrying and dodging, as we've talked about, but this game, I think, is super accessible. It's an action game where you are going to be cutting down enemies. The section of the game that we played, there were 2 difficulty levels available. There was story and action. So if you perhaps want a slightly easier experience and just want to be able to enjoy the story, that option is there for you. The parry windows, I thought, were quite generous. It's a really cool way to make you feel like a really adept swordsman. You can parry enemies that are behind you. You can sort of just keep parrying and timing things and just feeling like a really cool swordsman. And of course, as you mentioned, there are yellow souls that enemies drop too, which will keep your health topped up. So there's a few routes in here. I feel like there are going to be challenging moments in the game. We'll talk about the boss fights that we played in a little bit, but I'd say it's definitely more of a straightforward action hack and slash game, and people should just play it. It's going to be amazing. Don't worry about it. It's not going to be difficult like a Dark Souls or anything like that. This feels to me like a pure action game.
But speaking of the boss fight, let's sort of talk about the characters.
Yes.
So we've only seen two at the moment, mainly, who is Musashi and Gunryu. Musashi being our main protagonist, and Gunryu being...
He's like our rival sort of thing, isn't he? It's interesting that they've both got Oni gauntlets. It's just interesting that we have a boss here, a boss character, a rival for Musashi, who has an Oni gauntlet. What's all that about?
I know, we don't even know. And he seems very excited about the fact that he's fighting Musashi, so I don't know whether they've got like a history in the past, because they both know that they're very strong. But already, Musashi just seems to have that very confident, like...
He's kind of like a cocky, maybe a bit brash, naive. He's obviously, Musashi is a historical figure in Japan and a legendary swordsman, but this, I think, is quite early on. It's a young Musashi who still has that sort of air of cockiness about him. He's quite a cheeky chap. He's quite funny the way that he talks to the Oni gauntlet, which actually talks back in this game, by the way. There is a gauntlet lady. We don't know much about her, but there's obviously going to be a lot of interesting character interactions there. I think there's going to be a lot of humour in the game as well. I think Musashi is going to be quite a fun character to follow. It's going to be fun to follow his journey and how he and the Oni gauntlet lady, how they get on together.
100%. And Gunryu as well has got that, again, that same kind of cockiness in the sense that they're also like, I just want to fight and I'm so much stronger now, like, fight me. Like, you know, he's very much that antagonist that wants to be absolutely battered by you.
Yeah, just two rivals going toe-to-toe, both with swords, both with Oni gauntlets. There's something really cool about it's almost like a mirror match lineup, which is really cool.
Let's go into that boss fight, because it was so much fun. And when you talked about the combat feeling like a dance, I really felt this boss fight did feel like a dance between two very skilled swordsmen. And also, I thought it was quite challenging as well.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't let up.
I agree. And this might just be me. I swear he was like learning some of the combos I was doing. I'd be like, we'll do a couple of squares, like single hand attacks, then go for a two-hander at the end. He was like learning and parrying my attacks. So there's almost like you have to keep switching up your combos and thinking about your positioning. It feels like, you know, you aren't just fighting a boss, you're fighting like a clever enemy swordsman that will anticipate what you're going to do and try to counterattack that. I enjoyed breaking his hat. You can break his hat.
I loved breaking his hats. I loved it.
And it felt like after that, like he actually started to take a little bit more damage to his like upper body after that bit. So it just makes me think there's going to be a lot of, mechanically, there's going to be a lot going on in the boss fights in this game and ways that you can gain the upper hand that might not be immediately obvious. But yeah, what an incredible fight. And there's also some other cool things, like when you can land a critical blow, right? Like when you stagger the enemy.
Yeah, so when you've got the stagger bar like absolutely depleted and they're like, oh no, Musashi, you got me. You have this really fun mechanic where you can choose where you want to attack in slow motion, and the effect of the attack depends on what color of the little like orb you select. So for example, if you select a red orb, it will do extra damage to the boss, but if you go for the purple orb, then you'll get a lot more souls. So it depends on how you want to fight, if you want to prioritize damage or like grinding to potentially use those souls for something else. But it was just a mechanic I really, really liked. And also it's fun as well to decide, do I want to go for the head or do I want to go for the guts?
It's just a cool, tactically it's like, what do I need right now in the boss fight, you know, and you can sort of shift your priorities like that. Also, it felt like there were really cool, like, dedicated parry animations for both you and the boss. So for particular attacks, if you parry it just sort of, they'll just clash swords in a really cool way and they'll twirl around each other. It just adds to that feeling of it being like a dance, you know. It's really, really cool. Also should mention all the environmental stuff that you can do, which I forgot to mention earlier. It's really cool. There was a section where there were some enemies next to a gate and you could push a trolley into them and just knock them all over.
Yeah.
So there's going to be all sorts of fun environmental things we saw in previous gameplay footage as well, like kicking tables. There's a lot to the combat, and I'm hoping that some of that environmental stuff will factor into boss fights as well. But yeah, it was an incredible 20 minutes with the game. And we've got one final point that I think we should touch on,
which is just how it looks really, really
pretty. The game
pretty.
looks amazing.
It looks amazing.
It looks so good. The horrible creature designs are back. The Genma are back and uglier and more disgusting than ever. There's some classic Genma designs in there that I think Onimusha fans will recognise, but there's also some horrible new creatures as well that are going to be a real challenge. And just, the environment, the horrible sort of pulsating growths on buildings, and all the, you could say, this area of Japan, this area of Kyoto that's been affected by the malice. Just really amazing to explore. Beautiful in places, terrifying in others. the game looks great.
It just looks fantastic. And honestly, Alex and I cannot wait
Oh.
to hear more about
want
Onimusha
it.
Way of the Sword.
I want more.
And to, one day get our hands on the
Yes.
full game.
Yes.
Which at the moment is still saying it's 2026 on PS5, so we're anticipatingly waiting for more news on it. Alex, thank you so much for chatting to us.
Honestly, thank you, Rosie. I cannot wait. As you said, I just want more of it now. Now!
And thank you all so much for listening. If you liked this video, please feel free to give it a like, subscribe to PlayStation Access for more content like this, and hit the notification bell so that you stay up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation. Thank you all so much for watching.
PlayStation